This is Joe Winkelsas. You're watching the Moneyball channel.
I have Joe Winkelsas with me. Joe Winkelsas is a Buffalo guy. He's had a journey that we're going to talk about today. Ended up MLB baseball. Not too many of us can say they played a couple games in the bigs. This guy did, and it was more than a cup of coffee. I mean, this guy had a pretty up and down, kind of crazy career that we want to get into. So what is up, my man? Thanks for joining the show. Thanks for taking some time with me. How you doing today?
Appreciate you. Thank you, Donovan. I love the show.
Thank you, man. I really do appreciate you saying that. Growing up in Buffalo, if you ever thought there'd be any shot, number one, of you ever playing Major League Baseball. So, for example, was it like, man, I really have something and I think I can go? Give me the story. I know you've probably told it a few times. Give me the breakdown.
Well, when I was a kid, I turned on the television and I saw Dwight Gooden throw into Gary Carter.
Okay.
And I just fell in love with the catcher's position. And I just, there's all these different sports. You can be a running back, you can be anything you want. I said, I want to throw to that guy. I want to throw to the catcher.
Well, you didn't even start playing until you were 10 or 11?
Yeah, I started playing at 10 years old.
Okay. So, later than most, usually people say, I had the right. the bat in my hand when I was 5,
T-ball, 5 years old.
Yeah.
You start when you're like 8.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I remember my little league coach, his name was Sal Zandano. He had a bad back, and he would stand up, and he'd have to hold the glove in a certain spot. And if I missed the glove, we would play catch in an open field. I would have to go run 50 yards to go get the ball and then run back. So that taught me my control real quick.
That is awesome. The guy wouldn't go down and pick the ball up.
No, he couldn't because his back was bad, right? So, Joe, you go get you clean up your own mess. You learn that from a young age, growing up on the west side.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
Growing up on the west side of Buffalo, they don't let you get away with anything.
That's true.
But I always thought to myself that I was going to be a big leaguer. I wanted to play pro ball. You didn't understand the ramifications of how hard it was. Like, you're going to be a 1%er, right, of the world. I just kept playing and throwing hard, and there was really no drive line or anything like that. I knew when I was 12, I threw harder than most people. You could hear the ball hit the glove. Hitters are backing out. Everyone's saying how hard you throw. You want to go see someone throwing real hard. And I always wanted to do it. The support that I got from my mother was a real big fan. She has, my mother, she's a great woman. She had a lot of temptations in her life, maybe a few demons. She was in and out of prison a lot, my teenage life. So there was that battle there.
Yeah.
But I remember, so I took off baseball for a while. I didn't play baseball from the ages of 17 to 19 years old once I graduated from high school.
Really?
I was just running around with my friends.
Didn't play. I was running around with my friends. I was not resisting temptation. You were getting into trouble like a lot of us do at that age, man.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And I remember I used to carry around this boa constrictor in my bag. I had a red-tailed Colombian boa constrictor. I took it to a party. And I was up all night, but I always carried my glove with me. I always carried a glove and a catcher's glove because nobody wanted to catch me unless I had a catcher's glove. Okay. And I remember seeing some guys that I played. That's when you would go to these open tryouts, right? Yeah. The Pittsburgh Pirates would just have a tryout. There'd be 100 people there. Yeah.
Wild, yeah.
Back in the day, right? So I saw him walk into a Florida Marlins tryout. I said, I'm going with you. So I went to a Florida Marlins tryout. I got a T-shirt on from the night before. I got a pair of jeans on. I walked with these kids that I knew from North Buffalo, from Shoshone Little League.
Yeah.
But we were all older now. So I was 19 years old. And I go there. He goes, so we're throwing 88, 90 after not even playing, right? Just probably not real good for your arm. But he goes, what are you doing? Where are you going to school? I said, I was just thinking about going to Buff Skate, do some psychology. He goes, no, we're going to send you to USC Salkehatchie. It was a junior college in Allendale, South Carolina.
Yep.
Where I met Joe Baxter, who was a Marine for 4 years, and he caught at Florida State. Real hard-nosed, tough coach. Yep. Changed my life. Went there, got drafted by the Phillies, didn't sign. Went there another year, and then the Braves picked me up as a free agent. Actually, let me take a step back. The Florida Marlins thing with Billy Shear sent me to USC Salkehatchie. I threw in a tournament at the end of the year. Billy Best, he played with the Royals. He was the head coach for Elon University.
Okay.
He was there. I remember giving up, I gave up 4 runs in 2 innings. And I remember I gave up back-to-back home runs. Next inning went out, gave up another home run, and then got some runs. And my coach comes out, he goes, this is going to be the shortest day of your career. So long story short, we ended up winning the game. Philly's like, you're going to come to college at Elon University. And my dream was always to be a Hurricane. So I was recruited by Miami. Okay. We were on the way down to Miami. We stopped at Elon. Okay. And I just remember falling in love with Elon University. Yeah. Margaret Thatcher was speaking there. It was like Bible Belt
dude, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really
And you know
southern
what?
hospitality.
Think about how, if you're a fate guy, if you're a God guy, think
Mm.
about how trajectory of life, right, Joe? And here's where I'm going. You would have been a disaster at Miami. You know,
My mother said she begged me not to go to Miami,
you would have been between women, booze, whatever else you could have got your hands
and
on.
that's
And well, listen, and Miami, that's what they did there. And
yeah,
if you were a good athlete there, you go back to the Michael Irvins, man, you go back to all those stories of the you know, back
yeah,
80s. Who knows if you would have got out of there? Forget pitching, right?
yeah,
Who knows if you would have got
yeah,
out of there? But
yeah.
destiny has its way of calling, man. And like, you know, you could say, oh well, you know what? It is what it is. You found Elon, or did Elon find you? Because it was the
Right,
perfect setup. Like, you know, I appreciate your transparency with mom and everything, right? Saw at an early age where life can take you if you go down a wrong road.
right.
We all battle with that stuff, man. We could sit and talk. I could tell you stories about my early you know, we all battle with that stuff. You went to Miami, could have been very easy for you to go down that road. Instead,
Yeah,
by the grace of God, you end up at, like you said, the Bible Belt, Elon.
yeah.
There's like a pink hue behind you when you walk into the place. Angels are singing, you know.
Yeah, yeah, right. Pepperell, Alex Cora, they're showing me around. It was fantastic.
It's really amazing, man.
Yeah.
And so why did you, I guess when you said the Phillies drafted you, you did not sign. Go into that a little.
Right. Well, because my college coach, I mean, it's all business. He wanted me to come back and play another year at USC Salkehatchie, but it wasn't very good money. And
Yeah.
he said, Joey, they're just dangling a little bone in front of your face. And it was
Dangling a carrot.
next year they have some little meat on it, make you some money.
Yeah.
So he was right. I mean, there's a lot of chances you take. Maybe you can get hurt. Maybe you don't play as well. But as an athlete, you're saying to yourself, yeah, I'm going to go back next year. I'm going to be even better. And I'm going to make a little money in the draft. You get drafted a little higher. They take care of you a little more. They overturn rocks,
Back then, brother, I mean, you know, a signing bonus. Back then it was like you had to kiss the ring just to get drafted.
That's right.
Now it's the other way around, right? Like you could be an 18th round draft pick and demand $1 million, right? And there's 20 rounds, but even so, the NIL and all the other nonsense. I'm willing to bet, and I don't know this, total shot in the dark. The Phillies probably said, "Here, we'll draft you and give you a $15,000 signing bonus." Like it was probably
$10,000. Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And like, what are you gonna do with that? So I get that end of it, and you know, obviously going back, giving yourself more opportunity, but you never gave up, dude. Like you just that 17 to 19 story really kind of like gave me goosebumps, man, because I'm thinking you're going to parties with this mitt. You're doing it as almost like, for a lack of a better word, you're kind of like the entertainment of the party. Right?
Oh, no question.
You guys have a few pops and you're like, all right, throw this catcher's mitt on. I'm going to show you what I can do.
Yeah, take out the boa constrictor.
Right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's what you were. And it was like, oh, Joey's man, you got to see my friend Joey. Like, this dude can throw heat. Like, you got to see what he does. A couple of years later, you know, here we are, and you're getting this opportunity. So 1999, you get your debut with our Atlanta Braves. Tell me about that feeling, man. I mean, you know, how that was to go out and I know it wasn't the best outing in the world, but how was that feeling of going out?
Oh, it was fantastic. My first pitch, I think I threw it onto the field from the bullpen. I was so nervous. Emotionally, I probably wasn't mature enough or ready to be there. We were going up against the Diamondbacks. Glavine was pitching against Randy Johnson. So then I basically was going up against Randy Johnson, which was fantastic.
Just got the chills again, man. You saying that here comes Winkelsas with Glavine and Johnson, man. Like that is unbelievable, dude.
In 1999, when I made my debut, Bobby Cox came up to me and said, "Joe, you're here for 6 days. We don't like to bring guys up from single A," because I essentially went up from single A.
Did you really?
So what happened is Wohlers, he was having problems throwing strikes. Remember, he had the yips.
Yep.
He had the yips for a little bit. So the rule was you cannot bring a guy up on the 40-man or make a trade if you did not have 10 days big league service time. So the record was 4-4. So they needed to have 6 more days to have 10 games within that season to make a trade or to call somebody up that was essentially ready. Because I wasn't ready, you know, to be up there. Back then they didn't like to call kids up from single A to make sure.
I mean, they still don't. And a lot of it politics too. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of it is because of what you need to deal with all the guys in trip, high, and double saying, hold on a second, what's this guy doing? Not like it's anybody, you know what I mean? But it's still a political world, man. Like,
right. So he told me, He told me, he said, if you could strike out the world or you can give up 100 walks. He goes, you're going back
Okay.
down and you need to play in Double A before you get here.
Okay. So it was never a show and prove situation there.
Right. I'm sure, if I would have just like dominated and struck everybody out, they would have gave me a second chance, of course. But like I said, that was part of my roller coaster ride. That was part of what I needed to do to go back to the minors, figure out what I needed to do mentally, emotionally to maintain that type of competitive edge. Because I remember Chipper Jones came up to me right before the inning. He hands me the ball. He goes, let's get him, Winks. I'm like, what do you mean I'm thinking to myself, what do you mean let's get him? I was just watching you like a year ago on TV.
Yeah. And that's Chipper Jones.
Chipper Jones, right. And it was kind of like I was starstruck. I was a little awestruck the first time there. I remember the first pitch I threw, right before I threw it, I said to myself, everybody in the world is watching me right now as I'm winding up, which isn't what you want to say when you're throwing this game, right?
No. Did that settle down? I mean,
yeah, I think, you have to be able to control your heartbeat. Now that I'm in the coaching game, now that I threw some good innings in the big leagues, I have 14 years of professional ball with the Braves, Brewers, and White Sox. I have 150 saves in the minors.
I honestly did not know that because there's only so much research I can do, and that is phenomenal. Yeah. Like, that's phenomenal, bro. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Battling lots of injuries going up. I've had 4 surgeries. I've had a neck surgery. I've had 2 elbow surgeries and just hanging out in the clubhouse, always rehabbing, picking the coaches' ears, picking other players' ears. I mean,
well, in my opinion, the best coaches in the world are the Joe Winkelsases of the world. They're the guys that have lived through it. So you were 25 years old when you pitched your first inning, right?
Yes.
Then we go to 2006. Like, listen,
2006.
I don't care what anybody says about anything. You find somebody who can go from age 25, steps out, hey, I'm going to go do whatever work I can for my family. I'll go be a garbage man.
Right, yeah.
I mean, think about that. Like, you've told this story, man, but like, I love this story and I want everyone in the world to hear it. Like, you can go, I'm going to go be a garbage. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to support myself, to get my head right. And 6 or, a year before that, you say, I'm not done with baseball. Talk about this.
Well, I had been retired because I said to myself, you know what, I'm going to be done with this now. Just always constantly going through injuries, right? Never able to finish out a season. I had good innings though. I mean, there was 3 different times in my career where I went 30 plus innings without giving up a run out of the bullpen. I had a good power sinker that the Lord's blessed me with. My middle finger's a lot longer than my.
Oh, look at that. Let me see that.
Than my first finger.
That's why you're throwing what you're throwing. That middle finger, man, I think, is that a world record for longest middle or what?
I was blessed. I was retired. I was injured, right? So I used to sit on the right side of the garbage truck. So as I'm on the left side of the garbage truck. So I'm on the left side of the garbage truck. And in the fall is the best because you got the leaves, right? You got all the leaves. Yeah. There's the frost all over it. So I'm throwing this garbage from the right side, everything, dressers, couches, they take everything in Buffalo. And it's building my arm up. It's building my core. It's like rehab that I didn't understand. Yeah. So I'm at this time, I'm also the pitching coach at Niagara University.
Oh, okay.
And I'm throwing BP there, and they got all the guys. There was a couple guys that were getting drafted that should have got drafted out of Niagara University. So I'm throwing BP at like 88, just like letting it loose, right? And then Tony Blengino, the national cross checker for the Brewers, he says, Joe, let it loose a little bit. So I'm throwing 93, and I didn't realize I was throwing this hard, but being on the garbage truck is just building me up.
Had you ever thrown that hard before?
No, I was usually like 88, 90.
Yeah, guy, right? Yeah.
Now I'm 91, 94, right?
Yeah.
As the age gets older, you're supposed to slow down, right?
Yeah.
So after BP comes up to me, he says, Joe, he goes, we have a situation in Milwaukee. He goes, we're going to treat it like independent ball this year. We've missed on a lot of first rounders. There's going to be no politics. We want you to come try out, and the best man is going to win the job. Wow. So we're not just trying to pull your leg here. Yeah. But he says you do have to buy your own ticket. You have to go to Maryvale and in Arizona, and you're going to wait and you're going to try out and we're going to take who we want.
Is this in March? Is this like you're going there for Cactus League type thing?
Yes. It's right before spring training. They're having a tryout before spring training. So I remember, talking to my pastor the night before. We're just praying, God, Jesus is a warrior. He's going to take care of things right. I'm going to live by faith. So I get to my hotel about noon the day before, walking around, going to what's it, one restaurant? I forget the restaurant. Walking back to the hotel, and then I start praying. I got on my knees. I start praying at around 8 p.m. So as I'm praying, like fall into like this trance, and I thought I was dreaming. And I have like this three-way conversation with my pastor, Jesus, and myself. And we're starting to name all the names of God. And my pastor would say, "You are merciful. You are merciful. You are holy. You are worthy." So I would say, "You are worthy." My pastor, "You are holy." And then Jesus says, "I am faithful." So then we just kept saying, "I am faithful. I am faithful" in this three-ring circus that we have going on here in prayer. So when my alarm rings at 6 a.m., I'm still on my knees on the floor, where I think I was just in like this trance, just praying all night long. I get to the tryout. I'm the last one to go because it's alphabetical order. I struck out 3 guys throwing 94. They took 2 guys, a position player and a pitcher. There were 200 people there, and I was one of them.
Again, one of those things where, the guy saw you, he said, "Hey, I'm going to have him go out." And you're still thinking, okay, whatever, I'll go out, I'll pay my way out, I'll do this. Yeah. I know you're a faithful guy, and it means so much, to so many people, and you always have to have something to lean on.
And we're given a lot of things to worship on this earth. It's really just a big game, and it's a big test to see, what are you going to give your time to? What are you going to devote your life to? These things out here that are going to pass away, that are perishable, or the one true living God who says, "I am the way, the truth, and the life."
I like that, man. I do. I like that. I respect that. And, I'm the type of dude too, where if whatever it is that someone, you have to have something, you have to have the faith, and whatever it is that something, so you have to have something to hold on to, something to
hold on to. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's a killer story as well. That happens. Now, do you go into spring training then? Like you were selected. Yeah. So now you're on the now you still need to make the team, or was that a selection into spring training?
No, still, yeah, a selection into spring training.
So there's a long road ahead here, man.
Yeah, and I was embracing every second of it, right? So I'm just like, we started off in Huntsville, Alabama, which was one of my favorite teams to be on. And you know what? Credit to the Brewers, because they honored their word. They released a lot of first, second rounders that weren't panning out, and they just went after guys like independent ball situation that wanted to win, and we did. I think we won the championship that year in Double-A.
Dude, that's unheard of too. You know what I mean? For them to actually say it and then do it are two different things, because there's a lot of money involved, No
doubt, no doubt. They went like 14 innings the night before, so they called me up to pitch out of the bullpen. Okay. I think I even started that day out of the bullpen, and I went 5 scoreless, struck out like 10 guys, and then 2 days later they sent me back down to Double-A. And I went to Double-A, and then 7 days later they called me back up to the big leagues with the Brewers after 7 years.
It's insane. Like we're talking about roller coaster, but this is serious. I've never heard of anything like this, and I don't think you'll ever hear anything like this again. Tell us about the road, the camaraderie, man. You're on the bus, these. It's not the glitz and glamour, but it's baseball, and it's like you're almost in a way just getting by, right? But you're playing this game you love. Let's go into your head a little bit and tell people about that part of it.
Yeah, it's like a utopia. You go from the bus to the field, you play the game, you go back on the bus, you go in neighborhoods, you go into cities, you go to the restaurants, right? You have all of these great stories, The bus rides for me were the best. Some people hate the bus, but I love walking. The dugout is full of Spanish. Everyone's talking Spanish, and to me it's a Latino game, right? And the back of the bus, 3 a.m. They're just playing their guitars and they're just singing, and they got their maracas. Everyone's in the front of the bus. Shut up, go to sleep. Mama huevazo, yo sandale, right?
Yeah. And you'll never have anything like that, like it's And you make friends, and you make lifelong friends, picture this guy's from here, this guy's from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How big was the Buffalo support system? Let's give a shout out to Buffalo here.
Oh yeah, bro. My buddies, man.
West Siders and that whole Buffalo support system, right? Like in Buffalo, everybody wants to brag about how they know an MLB guy, right? That's just Buffalo, right? So how big was the support system that you had with friends, family, everybody else, while you had some dark times and stuff?
It was fantastic, man. They followed me around everywhere. They always rented limo buses, and whenever I'm in Pittsburgh or somewhere close, or even down south, it was fantastic. They're always calling me up, sending me messages, even today, because now I've become a coach. I've become a good coach. I coached independent balls. I've won championships. I've won a lot of championships. And it's just coming from the West Side and playing baseball and going through all the failures and all the resiliencies and having a lot of energy and just, just the X's and O's and knowing what other people don't know. I'm going to start this pitcher today, but he gets to the field and I say, what's going on? Maybe they had a bad car ride. Maybe he didn't eat enough blueberries or walnuts. And it's just something that and you feel when you've gone to a certain level, what's going on in a certain player's heart or his mind. And I can tell you how you feel before it's happening because I've been there, right?
No, it's called empathy, and I can feel it oozing out of you. You're an empath, and those are the best coaches. Okay, I pride myself. I do coach, kids. I like to, at any level, you want to try to get inside their head as an empath, right? Say they're 10, 12 years old. There's so much going on in their brain. Their dad's yelling at them from the backstop.
Sure.
But you know exactly what I'm saying. There's always more to the story. You don't just go out and pitch the kid because he's the best pitcher all the time. You don't play the kid because he's the best player. You don't bat him here because he's the best batter. There's always more to the story.
Yeah, parents could be going through a divorce. I want to speak kindly to you. I want to tell you what to do before the play happens instead of yell at you after the play happens. And the batting order as well. I mean, to me, batting orders are based on personality. I want to put you in the 4 spot, but you're putting pressure because it's number 4, but you rake in 5. And this guy, you're a 2 hitter. I believe that the best hitter in the game should be number 2. I've been saying that forever. Even
I always say 2 or 3 is my thing. 2 or 3 is my thing.
Yeah. You give your players the best opportunity to win based on the scouting report. We were facing a team the other day, and I got my phone. I got every single kid, what they cannot hit, what they can hit. You want to expose them for their weaknesses the same way. Coaching staff, what he calls, how he runs the bases. How can we get these guys out on the bases? I love to. It's a 3-dimensional chess game.
And you doing it, at any level, like that's amazing to me, right? Like taking it and taking your craft so seriously, you never know. And I can tell it's not a selfish thing. It's not about, hey, who can we develop next? There is some of these programs who are solely looking at like showcase this, who can I develop next?
Yeah.
You want to develop all of them. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
Some will stand out. Some will stand out. Some will be here. Some will be there. But just hearing it in your voice, man, you want to develop all of these guys. And I actually love, I think there's too much emphasis on a couple of things. I think these days there's a little too much emphasis on velocity. I think there's a little too much emphasis on batting order, right? If you're on a team 1 through 9, everybody plays a role. And you see it too with the kids when you say, oh, you're batting 8th today. And they're like, dude, their face drops, their body, right? And I hate that, man. That should not be baseball at all. If you're batting not, we have to change that perspective. That's my thing.
Yeah. And what I tell the kids, if they're upset about batting 8th, I say, this game's like the lottery. I said, I can bat you 3rd. I said, but you know what's going to happen? The 7th inning's going to come around. There's going to be bases loaded. We're down by 2, and the 8th spot needs to perform right now.
That's it. They all need to perform, They all have a different role, man. Your contact guy, this, that. So, but I dude, everything you're saying, man, is like music to my ears. It's refreshing. And I can tell, we've known each other 30 minutes, and I can tell you're a hell of a coach, and I can tell you're a hell of a guy, man. And I just, I have a real good, I can read people well, man. That's that empathy thing too. And you can just feel it, man. It's oozing off of you, and I'm excited to, to dive a little bit more in again after the camera.
Yeah,
we'll get into some, I truly mean it. We'll get into some fun questions here with the Sass. What do you go by? Is it the Sass, man? What's the nickname?
Oh man, there's been lots of nicknames. A lot of people call me Joey, but I go Winks, Sass, Incubator, Nasal Slash, Wrinkled Socks. I mean, you name it, bro.
I like Wrinkled Socks.
You know what? I tell everybody I've been in about 30 one-on-one fights in my life. I bet you 15 of them have probably come from my last name as a kid. Just getting made fun of, right? A lot of people don't know my biological last name is Privatera. I mean, as you can see my face, there's probably not an ounce of German in me. No. Ken Winkelsas, great man. He adopted me when I was 2 years old.
Okay.
My biological father ran off. I met my biological when I was 16, but I had my biological mother, Mary Ann DeVita, and then Ken Winkelsas raised me up. Hard worker, Ken Winkelsas. I mean, he never missed a day of work, ever.
Bro, your story gets better and better, man. Your story
everything was just about being obsessed with your goal. Yeah. There was no video games. I'm at the church wall on the corner of Hoyt and Bird on the west side, just throwing the ball against the wall. Everyone's going out doing their thing. I just want to play strikeout with a rubber ball at school 45 with the box.
And that is what's going to separate them, right? But people don't understand too, even with all the success you've had, that's what you were doing. You know what I'm saying? And there's
Right.
people that are just natural. You know, you're Paul Skeens,
Mhm.
you're Tarek Skubal. You know, like you're just born with that, man. There is those situations, or it came down,
Sure.
family, whatever.
Yeah.
Some people
But
got to work.
most of the time it's just good hard work.
Yeah.
And it's just hard work and it's just becoming obsessed. And it's grinding through it. Like the best coaches grind. For example, I mean Barry Bonds and A-Rod got fired as hitting coaches
Yep.
because it was so easy to them. They really never even had to work at it. They
Right.
couldn't explain it to somebody.
They couldn't even explain it. They couldn't. It was just like, go up and do what I do. You're absolutely right, man. Like,
Yeah.
I can't do what you do, you know? What's your pizzeria in the area?
You know what? I'm gonna plead the fifth on that. I can get a lot of trouble. I know
Okay,
all
that's a
owners
good
around
answer. That's
it.
good, smart
Yeah,
answer.
I like to venture around. You know, I got my kids, my nephews, you know, the family. We go to different spots. We see everybody.
Yeah. That's, you know what? That's a great answer. You're not going to get yourself in trouble that way. And
Yeah.
let's put it this way: a lot of good food in Buffalo, right? Like,
I
man, I
try
know
to
that.
eat healthier these days. I've been eating healthier, you know, cucumbers, celery, tomatoes, avocados, you know.
Yeah, but it's tough to stay away from that pizza and wings, man. It's just, you know,
No, never. Yeah, once a week,
you smell it, you got to have it. You got to have a cheat.
52 times a year.
So tell us what you're up to and give us a shout out now to the organization you're with, and you know anything you want to say about your current you know the leagues you're with, your training programs.
Sure. I'm with the PAL, the inner city RBI program with Buffalo, New York. Bison's back that. We just had a big win yesterday, walk-off win. We were down 5-2 in the seventh. We came back and won 6-5.
Nice.
It's a 19U league. Right now, our record, I think we're like 5-1. The championship is at Salem's Park, where the Bisons play on August 6th. So that's going to be fantastic. With the Niagara Surge in Niagara Falls, coaching the 12U situation, had a bunch of 11U parents that were just sick and tired of daddy ball. You know, the coach's kid playing shortstop, hitting third in the lineup. So they pulled me out of retirement for travel ball, and we're going to go back to Cooperstown. We're going to have a great system. We start up in September. We go from September to September, doing a power arm program and just getting them where they need to be. And I just think I want every kid to experience getting drafted and being the best they can possibly be in that type of setting, right? Because there's nothing better than baseball. To me, there's nothing better than being called a baseball guy. This guy he's a baseball guy. I feel like everyone wants to play baseball, and then once you can't, you just go to other sports. But that's me being biased.
Well,
right?
I don't know. I think you're right. I mean, it's
a tough thing, man.
Yeah.
The failure's tough. The resiliency is tough. And just the grind is what we love, right?
I think
we love the heat.
One thing about baseball, you know, in my opinion, which makes it it's an everyday guy's game too, right? I'm not 6'11", I can't dunk. I'm not 360, I can't play line.
Yes.
So if you don't have the prototypical size, shape, boom, you still can grind and be a ball player. And that's what I think makes me most proud about baseball, is that from hard work and dedication. Like I said, we talked about how there's just the natural athletes, but you can be Alejandro Kirk, 5'7", you know, the dude's
absolutely
400 feet, you know, it's wild.
Eckstein, just enough.
Right? Like just enough, man. Just enough, his nickname, just enough, right?
Yeah. I mean, it is the only game on earth where slow guys can beat fast guys and small guys can beat big guys. And it's a beautiful thing. I do individual lessons. I got like 30 clients around Western New York that I give lessons and instruction to, and just go scout their games out. And a lot of these lessons and a lot of these baseball situations about dealing with the parents. I mean, I've had tough talks with parents like, I think you need to go sit in center field today. You may be hindering your kid. He's a little bit nervous around you. Don't take this the wrong way. It's going to strengthen your relationship as well.
That's hard, isn't it? What is
hard.
You know what? And I'm glad you brought that up, man. I don't want to take too much more of your time, but what's the typical reaction you get from a parent when you say something like that? Do they push back, or are they embracing you?
Well, you know, I've been doing this for 30 years, so there's been a variety of responses. I've had parents say, you know what, thank you very much. You're like the third person who said this to me. Coming from you, it makes sense. Okay. And then I've had fathers be like, you know, shut the F up, mind your own business. Let's go out in the back right now and take care of this. But you know, in the end, they'll all end up listening because the proof is in the pudding. Right?
Thank you. Bro, you are taking a hammer and nail and you are striking it dead on.
It's counseling. It's all counseling and therapy.
Well, it really is, man. You know, it really is.
Through baseball.
Yeah, at a certain extent. Now, and it's not just pitchers you're working with or catchers, right? I mean, you're working with
everybody. Yeah, the hitters. I'm considered a better hitting coach sometimes than a pitching coach. It's a holistic approach, right? Mental, emotional, spiritual.
I have nothing but respect.
Well, there's a good start. There's a good start because Deacon has a good father. So that we always look for good fathers. We have tryouts on July 30th and 31st. If you go to the Surge website, It'll give you all the information about times and locations.
That's awesome, man. Thanks again, and have a great day, bro.
You too, man. I appreciate you, Donovan.
Take care.
Thanks, pal.